Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Bible Sketching. Glad you could join me. Bible sketching. All right. I hope you're having a good week. It's kind of rainy here in southern Michigan, but that's okay. Sorry, I'm a little disjointed. I'm partly thrown off, so I'm trying something different today. I'm going to be sketching with watercolor. I just thought I'd kind of throw a little challenge to me, my way. It helps me to keep things fresh. I've been feeling like my sketches are kind of been doing similar things. Um, I've noticed a lot of like angels whispering in someone's ear, or on someone's shoulder, or similar types of landscapes, and that may still come out in the watercolor, but I just thought I would try to see what happens. I haven't been doing much watercolor. Last week I re-picked it up again, and yesterday I was doing some sketching with it, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. So we will see what happens. And if it's not going well, I may just grab my other sketching gear, or maybe do a little hybrid multimedia. Okay, verse of the day on BibleGateway.com. Romans 12:12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. This is speaking to me like nothing else. I've I'm gonna move this. You can't see my water cup under my little side video, but I've got my little water cup. Actually, I could move it over here, because you need to see me dipping the brush in water. Yeah, just within the last day or so, I've had a thing come up that has been challenging my mind. And it's something, I'm not going to share what it is, but it was just like a wrestling in my mind, and it's like, Lord, I know I need to trust you with this. And it's like, in my mind, I could get myself to focus on that, but my body was still just nervous and anxious and, angry and confused and whatever. We've all been there. It's nothing terrible, but I couldn't sleep for a while. And I was just like, Lord, I know you've got this. The be joyful in hope. I was like, I know I don't have to worry about this. I can be happy. It's okay. And I just couldn't get my body to go along with my heart, I guess. And I suppose maybe that's just a symptom of not practicing it regularly. It's like, oh, something bad is happening. Lord, I need you now. And then things are good again, and then I'm like, not quite so urgent in coming to the Lord. I have no idea what I'm painting right now. I'm not worried about it though, because I am joyful in hope that something will come out of it. So when it says be joyful in hope, and then patient in affliction, affliction, I don't know the exact definition, but that sounds a little more like physical pain. But for me, just the physical pains I was hearing or feeling, just the pains of anxiety. Were upon me, and I just needed to be patient with it. And I did eventually. As far as like getting to sleep, I was just like, Lord, I know I'm tired. It's okay if I don't sleep, but I'm just gonna lay down. And I fell asleep pretty quickly, I think. And then the last part of this, faithful in prayer, and I was praying. I was definitely praying last night and this morning. And you know what? Just this morning, things all got resolved with it, and there was no worries. So my hope was realized. I know other people can be facing things that are not quite so quickly taken care of, but it still is that situation of we just have to trust, and every time the Lord pulls through. So you can probably see a landscape developing here, a tree. I guess I need to see if that's showing up. Ah, that still seems small. I guess in my small area here, like, I got this big full screen and I have to kind of zoom in. Just because I don't have as big of area right here. So there's this dead tree. But let's do a tree of hope. I'll make it warmer. So I am just using, it's called burnt sienna and ultramarine blue to paint this. And I love using these two colors because it gives me enough variety without being too all over the place confusing. You get too many colors going, and then you start just, it can quickly and easily ruin your painting because you start adding too much, or I don't know, there's too many decisions to make when you have too many colors. And so if you keep it simple, like even down to one color, that was maybe a bad choice. It's gonna bleed into that tree. Oh well, just bleed in there. Maybe I'll come back and retouch that up. What was I talking about? I don't know. This looks like gray skies. That's not really bold on, I guess I need to go bolder for the camera. I was just thinking about, so I've got like the leafy tree over here. Is that a deciduous tree? Is that what you call that? And then the coniferous tree over here, where these, they don't lose their green. You see where I'm going with this? They don't lose their hope, their life. But this one does. It comes back, but alright, let's try to go even more bold. Let me make another tree that's maybe a little darker, a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. Try to add some good variety to your shape, the shape of your tree. Don't make it too much of a pattern. Ooh, look at that brush mark. Is that a hair? Nope. Yeah, I like those. Something a little more scratchy looking. You gotta play. Play with your brush strokes. Guess I need to go back up to that sky and figure out what I'm doing. Let's go a little more blue. It's too bold. Try not to go complete one color. You know, if I just dipped in my blue, it would be too vibrant of a blue. I need a bigger brush, I think. Where did my brushes go? Yeah, if you're trying to paint realistically, bold colors, you kind of want to save it if you need one little bit of punch. You know, something that really pops. And if you like make up the whole sky this bright blue, then you can't really bring in a nice punch anywhere. You know, something that just, you know, like the sun would need like a bright orange around it. So you want to save your brights for something like that. I wonder if I can get that in, a bright orange. So, I think I'm just going to leave it a white sky. So I still don't know what this is meaning to. Well, I guess I brought up the different trees. In some ways, I think we kind of drew this way last time, where just drawing and thinking about like peace, hope. You know, what really expresses that? Like you can write the word hope and it's very literally hope. And you could make an artistic drawing of, you know, more graphic drawing of hope, the word hope. But how do you depict hope? And I don't know, it's going to be different for everybody, but sometimes, to me, nature just kind of says it all. Like, that is like, it seems like the most direct connection to, you know, God's handiwork that's not tainted, you know, because we are sinful beings, but is this tree, can a tree be sinful and against God? We can corrupt it, but does the tree corrupt itself? I've never thought about that before, but I don't think so. So it's kind of like, so I'm using this brighter blue for up front here. So it's kind of like we can use nature as our thing we go to a little bit for looking to God. In the Psalms it says that, talks about looking to nature for these types of things. I used to do it a lot more often. I haven't really done it in a while, but we have a really beautiful lake here, and I for a while, almost daily, would drive out there in the morning, early in the morning, nobody else is out there. I'd usually just sit in the car. I would read, I would pray, I might fall asleep, but it was really the time to connect with the Lord for me. And just the nature out there, there was a lot of wildlife, ducks, geese, swans, and it just always allowed me to really connect with the Lord. And then I wouldn't do it for a while, and I would just kind of say to myself, I really need to get out there, and I would kind of keep saying it each day and still wouldn't get out there. And finally, once I did, it would be so refreshing, and maybe I need to do that again. So it was always beneficial. Not that it's like an idol or the thing I need to do to truly connect with God, but it was just helpful. God gives us those things for a reason. All right. I don't know if I've exhausted what this can be. Here, I'm going to put just a little branch of, does that look like leaves? Maybe. A little glimmer of hope for that. Deciduous. I'm just going to say deciduous. I don't know if that's the right word I'm thinking of or not. But, okay. Let's switch over. What do we got? Halfway through. I guess I got to do an upside down. Oh man, ruining my sketchbook here by drawing a picture upside down. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. I'm going to go to the context. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. I'm going to get a real light wash here. Sorry if it doesn't hold up or show up. So I'm going to draw some people here. And this is like a kid playing basketball. So you just kind of get a bit of the silhouette going. So I've been working with some kids on sort of a basketball program. I've been teaching kids different things with basketball. One of the things that has we've talked about it, but it's come to my attention, is how little we, and I mean like everybody, knows about teamwork. How do you have teamwork? You know, we say, work together. Okay, how do you work together? I know it's easy to ask that question and just be like, ooh, I can sound smart by just saying that, but seriously, how do you work together? How does this player know if he should drive the ball in himself, or should he pass to this guy who's wide open? And that's a difficult question, sort of. One of the things we've talked about in our basketball group, and these are younger kids, but we've said if he doesn't have the opportunity, if he's just kind of stuck, then he probably needs to pass it off. He probably needs to, this guy's wide open. His defender's maybe over here, kind of hunched over, not ready to attack, to defend. So if this guy passed to him, he could shoot it right away. Let's put a hoop in there so we know where the hoop is. Too much water. So you kind of have to learn, where are the opportunities? I don't know. I don't have answers to this because I feel like you don't ever really learn how do you work together as a team. In schools, something I think happens, sorry if I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong, but when teachers have kids work together in groups to help them to learn how to work in groups, but it seems like they don't really give them any tools for what that means. Like, okay, we're all together, I think this other person thinks this, we should do this. How do we decide? You kind of need some tools. You need some, when I say tools, techniques, tactics. For how to work together. Another thing I've kind of theorized with this is just knowing your job. When you know your job, like when you know who the leader is, when you know who's the supporter person, it makes it a lot easier. It's a lot easier to see, is this person doing their job or not? If not, they're not being a real team player. And it's knowing what your job is and also accepting that that's your job, which is another big problem. People don't accept what their job is. They may say, well, that's not fair. I want to be the leader. So learning to work together, love one another. We're taking this from Romans, and we're just looking at, it was bringing up, our verse of the day is just talking about our hope and trust. It's kind of like Paul is just giving all the good feelings kind of stuff. Be nice, share, be kind. Some reason that sounds so awful to so many of us. Like, oh, I have to be nice. We're so ridiculous. Yes, be nice. Kids and adults. One thing that the Lord has really impressed upon me is to speak up. And this is, I think, another major aspect of this idea of knowing what teamwork is. Let's see, we'll make houses. This is an outdoor thing, I guess. But we don't really keep each other accountable. I'm sorry if I'm just attacking the way we are, but in my own observation, in my own life, I have been afraid to speak up. I just I see something happening and I'm like, boy, somebody should do this, or that's not right what they're doing, and then I kind of leave it right at that. I don't go tell them or take action and see this person is hurting this other person, I better step in. And I've been afraid to do that, so I've been trying to speak up more. There's a fence back here. So this is a little different for me. Drawing some basketball players, I think. Maybe I drew some once before. It's kind of fun though with the watercolor drawing people, because you can sort of blob them in, and then the blob kind of inspires you to like figure out what that character really looks like. Like this guy looked kind of weird. He looks a little strange the way he's hunched over. So I'm trying to figure out what he's doing, and it just made me a little aware of, oh, I'll give him a little more balance by having an arm go out this way. And you noticed once I kind of blobbed him in, I can go back and more when it's dry. It's still a little wet, but when it's dry, then you can add another layer that brings more depth to it, so you maybe defines it a little more. Another house there. Maybe we can bring in a little bit of trees off in the distance. These need to be real light. As things go back, they need to be lighter, they need to be grayer. See how just putting in these simple roof designs just helps. You know, it says so much with so little. I've been reading about Picasso very slowly. I have a book by Françoise Giolette, and she was one of Picasso's lovers, kind of his main one, that seemed to understand him the most. And so she talks a lot about just how he was as an artist, the way he thought, his perspective. And, you know, a lot of times we look at Picasso today and we're just like, what was this guy thinking? Like, I could draw that, a 2-year-old could draw that. But he was seen in a really interesting way. He was able to look at, and really all artists do this, he was just doing it a little bit differently. But he would see what is the purest essence of this person, and not even so much just like, what do I think? Oh, I think this person is a triangle. They just feel like a triangle, so I draw a triangle and it's them. You know, I think there's a lot of artists that kind of maybe take that a little too oddly, and Picasso was much more patient and smart about it. He would try those simple shapes and he would say, it needs more to help it define that person. And I was listening to him talk about, or reading about him explaining, trying to do this portrait of Francois Joliet, and he uh, it was describing him thinking of a face, and he said, if I add too much detail, it almost explains too much. It's like you don't get right to the core of who that person is. There's a little more distracting elements there, and it's like, yep, that looks like that person, and you don't actually think about who were, like, what kind of person they were. So he liked to simplify the faces a lot more. He said, for a nose, I only need this little bit to let you know that's a nose and it's that person's nose. And then your mind, your imagination kind of fills in the rest. And for me, I really like that. It helps me to zero in on, like, these kids here playing. You know those are kids playing basketball. I don't think I've explained with the picture very well, just like um, what's truly going on, that this guy's open, who's on what team. Maybe this guy's on the team, his team. Maybe I need to, you know, this would be something you can think about, like this guy and this guy are on the same team. Now you kind of know because their colors of their shirts are similar. So it's figuring out stuff like that. That's kind of funny, that water thing. His belly's exploding a little bit because there was some water there that that orange went out. But you know, I need to kind of zero in on what are the main things that just say what it is I'm trying to say, and only say that. Don't say too much more, because then it becomes distracting. You lose what the actual message is. Sorry if I'm rambling. It looks like I'm out of time here, so you don't have to endure my rambling much anymore. Much more. So if you haven't tried watercolor, it's a pretty cheap way to get into painting. I would suggest, if you're going to try watercolor, get one good brush, kind of a $10 brush, and where is it? And one color, Payne's Gray. This is just kind of this color, and that's a really great color to just start with. So and this is Winsor Newton. So just buy one nice brush. Get something larger than you think. You know, I'm painting with this because I'm being a little more drawing, sketching, but something, you know, a little bigger like that, or even like this. This is like a 3/4 inch, and I have like a 1-inch flat brush, but just like getting something big. See this big guy compared to that? This one's fun to paint with. But get something a little big, because you want it to kind of almost make things happen in your drawing, in your painting, that are unexpected. So, and then also just good paper makes a huge difference. It probably makes the most difference. I use Arches. That's what everybody uses. ARCHES. You can get a pad of that. I'm not gonna. This is Pentalic on Amazon. These are a little pricey. Not too bad though. I like it because it can hold a pencil. So it's, as far as a sketchbook size, this is kind of 5.5 by 8.5 maybe. But let's go back to our drawings and review. And hopefully YouTube captures a good thumbnail. So we did our little landscape, and look, because I closed it, I got a little smudgies there. Maybe those are, I don't know, guys jumping from a plane into the water. And then we got the kids playing basketball, and look how much that guy's stomach has exploded. You never know what's going to happen with watercolor. It's so much fun. Alright, well thank you guys for watching again, and hope you have a great week, and hope you really take this verse to heart and completely putting your hope and trust in the Lord in everything, and endure, be patient through afflictions, through any pains, things that are just annoying. Just be patient through them, rejoice in the Lord, continue to worship through it, and everything will come out just fine in the end for those who are in Christ Jesus. So have a great week, and I'll be here next week. I think. Yes, I will try to make it work next week. Okay, bye.